What is up, guys? Welcome to Ask Almighty episode 2. This is like a weekly series I do on my channel where y'all can put a question in the comment section. And if I like it, I'll answer it on my next YouTube video. They don't have to be drug based, but my first two were drug based. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So, this one dude named I was about to say Jizz. George live for the bud. Live for the day, bud. Fuck, man, I can't even read. His name is George Live for the Day, bud. Good username, man. I really like it. But yeah, he asked if I really want to try psychedelics for artistic purposes, but I hear that people get really messed up on things like acid or Xanax. What would you recommend? So first things first. First of all, I feel like no one really tries hallucinogenics for artistic purposes. So I feel like you're full of shit. No, I'm just kidding, bro. Who knows, man? Maybe our teacher was like, all right, everybody drop acid before next week's class. Better be tripping your mind out so we can do this project. So I'm just suggest something like that happening. Our teacher was like, yo, let's fucking drop some acid, dope up, whatever the fuck y'all kids say these days. But yeah, so you're in art class, you're hallucinating. Which one should you take? No, not really an art class, but which hallucinogenic should you take? Well, first of all, I want to get something out the way. I see in your question you put acid or Xanax. Xanax is not a hallucinogenic drug. It's a prescription pill. And honestly, good thing you brought that up is because try to have a Xanax bar with you or Klonopin or Valium. Look those three drugs up. They're benzos. Xanax, Klonopin, or Valium. Those will kill your trips. And I've been around a lot of people who every time we trip, they always got some handy just in case it goes bad. Like if you're having a bad trip and becoming suicidal, thinking about hurting yourself, thinking about hurting other people, or just like super depressed and sad, you would want to take a Xanax bar or a Klonopin or Valium, and it'll completely kill your trip. I've never done this personally, but I've been around a lot of people who have. And another thing is I would like to point out is with acid. I see how you said acid. Thing is, acid is supposed to be LSD, and nowadays, especially last couple times I've ever tried a trip, everybody has fake acid. So I would suggest buying a testing kit or just like make sure you know what you're doing, man. Like one thing is when you acid LSD, I'm gonna call it LSD because a lot of people get acid. It can be like anything on a piece of paper. LSD is the actual like chemical makeup. So when you're talking about LSD, it's supposed to have no look or taste to it. So if you have a piece of paper and it looks like brown from like, cause the way they do it is there's liquid LSD and they like dip paper, and that's the shit you put in your mouth. So if the paper looks brown from how they dipped it, or if it looks discolored, or if it tastes bitter, if it's bitter, if it's sorry, if it's bitter, it's a spitter. That's what they say. If you put it in your mouth and you can taste something, it's like bitter or even sweet. It's not fucking acid, LSD. Spit that shit out. So my other suggestion is first have a Xanax with you or Klonopin to kill the trip in case it goes bad. And if you're doing acid, make sure it's real. But what I would personally suggest is if it's your first time ever tripping, get shrooms, like magical mushrooms. Because my thing is, you can Google shrooms, and you can get a pretty much good gist of how they look. They're usually white, dried out, maybe a little bit of green on them. Yeah, that's fungus. You usually don't want no green on them. But anyways, they're supposed to look white. They're supposed to look like white, dried out mushrooms. And, like, see, that's a good thing about mushrooms. No one can really fake making mushrooms. Like, you ain't gonna get no, what's the word, synthetic mushrooms. Like, you're getting the real shit. That's why I really like mushrooms. That's why I like tend to mess with mushrooms when I do want to hallucinate. So yeah, I would suggest mushrooms. And the dosage of how much you should take, I hear about people taking 1 gram. I hear about people taking half an eighth and an eighth. Those are really the three things people take. My thing with a gram, I feel like a gram is just a tease. You might get a little bit of visuals, maybe a little bit of like mental hallucinations, but nothing really like that serious. But what I have done before is a half eighth. A half eighth is at that good level where you get some visuals and you get the mental. Like it's a good, honestly, probably if I had to be honest, that's what I'm gonna suggest for your first time. But what I did with my first time is I did a whole eighth, man. Like my thing is go hard or go home. If you want to trip and you want to trip, like see what tripping is, see stuff that's not there, hear stuff that's not there. That's what I would honestly recommend is a whole eighth of them. But one thing is, you need to really go into the right mindset. Like you gotta make sure you're freaking stoked. You better like I can't fucking wait to eat these mushrooms. Like you're like fucking I don't know, man. I was gonna try thinking of some funny shit, man, like jacking off before you take them just because you want time to go by fast. I don't know, man. But you want to be freaking excited. You don't want to be nervous. Do not be nervous, because that's the thing. Like, I've known a lot of people who took mushrooms, and they're so nervous, and they're like, oh, it's just ever gonna quit? Am I ever gonna be normal again? Oh, what if I have a bad trip? You're gonna have a bad trip if you're like that. But if you're excited, you're gonna have a good trip. Like my first time ever, I was super excited, had a great trip. And I still love them because every time I do them, I get excited. I work myself up in the right way, but you can also work yourself up in the wrong way. And I also have been around people who thought they would never quit tripping. I know we've all been in high school, and they would always tell some story about little old Susie who took 3 hits of acid one night, and she thinks she's a teapot. And every time you lean her over, she thinks she's spilling fucking milk or whatever. That is not gonna happen. That has never happened. There's no recorded history of someone tripping and never quit tripping. Just know it will end. That's the thing. Like if you're going through a bad trip, honestly, I feel like it makes me stronger if I go through a bad trip. But if you're going through a bad trip, just know it will end. But if worst comes to worst, take that Klonopin, take that Valium, take that Xanax. Just know it will be over. And another thing is, don't worry about fucking overdosing. Like honestly, if you're taking mushrooms, you literally be full. Like, you know the feeling you get after you eat, I don't know, fucking 2 cheeseburgers, how you feel full and you can't eat no more? First of all, I don't suggest you full up on mushrooms your first time ever tripping, or ever. Don't get full of mushrooms. But if you do, you won't die, because literally you need more mushrooms than you can eat at one sitting to overdose. So you ain't gotta worry about that. Alright, and before I do my last point, I just want to recap what I said. So first of all, just try to have some Xanax or Klonopins with you as a trip killer, just in case it does go bad for you. Number 2, do mushrooms. That's what I suggest. First time tripping, try to get mushrooms if you can. And number 3 is honestly do a half-eighth or an eighth if you're really excited, if you really want the full thing. And my last thing is just like make sure you're in a good situation or a good area. Like do not go tripping around some people you do not know. Make sure, I don't even know if you should be by yourself, man. You kind of want someone there to talk to. You might just like go crazy just tripping by yourself. But you know, trip with a buddy, trip with a friend, a good friend, like a dude who you've been friends with forever, where it's not like somebody where you can like tell him your deepest, darkest secrets, like that kind of dude. Like, cause you know you don't want somebody you really don't know around you while you're tripping. So yeah, just make sure you're in like a known place, like a place you've been before, and make sure like no one's gonna like mess you up. Like no one's gonna like not mess you up, but you know like call you. Like make sure your parents know where you're at, or make sure your girlfriend or boyfriend knows where you're at. Just make sure like nothing can interfere with it to make it go bad. But yeah, guys, that was my Ask Almighty episode 2. What psychedelics would I recommend, or how should you do them? I hope it really helped you, dude. The George live for the day, bud. Fucking rock and roll, fucking username right there. But yeah, guys, I hope that fucking worked. Or I don't know why I said worked. I hope it worked. Hope this recording worked. But yeah, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Just leave a like if you did. That really helps me out. What I've realized lately is I get no dislikes, and I think that's pretty fucking awesome. And I feel like me getting no dislikes really just shows how fucking awesome y'all are, and that y'all only support me. And I really got no haters. I feel like now that I said I only get likes, and some people are gonna dislike this shit. But yeah, guys, subscribe for more if this is the first video you ever watched. Post a comment down below on what I should do next, because if y'all don't ask no questions, I really can't do this series. Like, it's up to y'all. If y'all like it, just ask some questions about anything. Like, I don't care if it's about sex, drugs, rock and roll, anything, man. I'll honestly answer it. But yeah, guys, fuck yeah, dude, that's about it. Peace.
Hostiles have destroyed your hardened sentry.